Disclaimer: crypto investments are highly speculative and involve significant risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Always do your own research and invest wisely.
Clarion, potentially the social layer of EOS. What is Clarion? For those of you that don't know, Clarion is one of ByteMaster's newest projects that seeks to address many of the inequitable issues happening within the current age of social media. The project seeks to decentralize many internet social layers by tackling their censorship issues. In this video I intend to read through a post made by ByteMaster called Introducing Clarion Number 2 and giving you my opinion on what this can mean for EOS mainnet in future. Source link to the post will be below. Okay, now let's get started. To paraphrase, the post begins with, Clarion seeks to offer everyone on the globe the means to broadcast their message to everyone who wants to hear their message without establishing a dependence on a centralized infrastructure. It will accomplish this via a censorship-resistant friend-to-friend network which will utilize the idle resources of your friends and family to disseminate your content. The ultimate aim is to offer the performance and dependability of a centralized service with the flexibility and independence of a logically decentralized network. With the assistance of the Clarion community, we can liberate our friends and family from the tyranny of Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, Apple and Google and create a social network free from manipulation and third-party dependency. Previous art Clarions drew lessons from other projects, like RetroShare, Hive, formerly Steemit, and Voice. RetroShare comes much closer to the required degree of decentralization, but has a cumbersome interface that isn't practical on mobile phones. Meanwhile, blockchain-based networks are logically centralized and need all complete nodes to execute all transactions. This is not appropriate for residential users on a large scale and generates a dependence on a limited number of online sites. One of the most successful decentralized protocols is IPFS and IPNS. These P2P protocols enable the publication of location-independent websites. Nevertheless, they have a number of disadvantages. Among these drawbacks is the requirement to maintain your own node in order to seed your material. There is no free way to push to IPFS. There is also a significant lag in the search for information. Lastly, there is not really a possibility for dynamic multi-user interaction. Protocols like Zirine offer an application framework to create dynamic web pages which are loaded/shared via the BitTorrent protocol. My experience with Zirine has been that it doesn't function well on mobile, that it takes a long time to sync sites, and that it has a lot of spam or that it needs to be moderated. A Zirine application is conceptually centralized in the same way that a blockchain application is at scale. Clarion's choice to use a progressive web application powered by WebAssembly is one of the architectural design choices that sets it different from most other peer-to-peer apps. Google, Amazon, and Apple's recent moves have shown that we can't depend on app stores and hosting services to deliver our apps and content. This means that the only way to get a censorship-resistant app on a phone is through progressive web applications. WebAssembly enables us to build our social network's logic in high-performance C++ while reusing much of the same code in the browser that we use in full nodes operating on open platforms such as PCs or personal servers. The Clarion OS is built around a friend-to-friend message propagation protocol that allows for the following types of message flow between cryptographic identities: asynchronous person-to-person, like email; real-time person-to-person; video/chat; one-to-many, like Twitter/Facebook, and many-to-many, like an open chat room/blockchain. The Clarion OS differs from previous blockchain systems in that the base layer does not need to achieve agreement on the sequence of user activities or interpret transaction meanings. Clarion OS may be deemed Layer 0 if Ethereum and EOS smart contracts are considered Layer 1. Clarion OS is still in its infancy and is in the early stages of development. We're putting together a team of developers to work on the initial prototypes. In my opinion, if you are anything like me, it's hard not to be impressed with ByteMaster's work ethic. Sometimes I wonder, where exactly does he find the time to start all of these incredibly interesting and innovative projects? This is certainly a project I would like to see in future integrated within the EOS mainnet blockchain. It would significantly help create a decentralized social layer for ordinary EOS users, and when you combine the solutions that Clarion is addressing, in the day-end age where censorship resistant is becoming increasingly more important as time goes on, it's hard not to see this as an essential service for any blockchain that hopes to keep ongoing interactions with community members. regardless if the powers that be agree with it or not. I can easily imagine a scenario in which large social corporations try to restrict or outright ban any crypto-related content from ever being able to see the light of day. Blockchain networks having their own social layers will become a necessity in the future, I believe. Just as always, ByteMaster is ahead of his time once again with a new innovative solution that most blockchain communities will not see the need for, or the necessity to integrate such a solution into much later in the future. If EOS were to address this potential community's social connectivity issue sooner rather than later, this would most certainly put EOS mainnet ahead of many of its competitors in prominence, and most importantly make the EOS mainnet community more censorship resistant in future. To all EOS holders, the community's social layer is coming soon.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, if you would like to read, listen to, or watch more of this kind of content, please visit us at www.cryptoapologetics.com. See you next time. Take care.